Well, I didn't know I could do that. Always coming up with new stuff. Gotta have new stuff. Let me get out here. I'm gonna find us. We are live. What's happening, folks? Jason Guy back in the house.
I said a ton of funny stuff, but we didn't catch it on camera.
No, but you were. We'll catch everybody up.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I was pointing out that I was trying to get the kiddos to bed, or at least like contribute a little bit to getting the kiddos to bed, so that my wife thought I was like useful around here. Oh my god, I gotta turn this down. Yeah, my wife and the oldest one were out doing like a jump rope class. They're doing like a double Dutch class, which I didn't go to because I can't single Dutch, much less double Dutch or any other number of Dutches.
That almost sounds like juggling while doing jump rope.
While drinking a beer. That I could do. Maybe I would actually be okay at that. But I am, after hanging out with my middle one and then my 2-year-old dude, and trying to like feed them and keep them from hurting themselves or each other. I got 2-year-old slobber all over my shoulder, and I was debating if I had to go change my shirt because it's a live show, and you should be dressed professionally or something. I don't know.
And I'm like, you haven't washed that in 2 years? That's 2-year-old slobber, really?
It's a 2-year-old slobber, man. It's lucky. It's a lucky 2-year-old slobber. I wouldn't wash it. I was just gonna go change it.
And just wear it another night.
Yeah. I was gonna wash it. That's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, I decided this is how I am today. This is the life I'm living today, is hanging out with the 2-year-old and making shirt slobber jokes. So here we are.
Yeah. I knew it was a bourbon podcast, so I did my research. I've had 2 bourbons already.
Which did you have 2 of the same, or did you do different ones to experiment more broadly?
No, we went out to eat, and we never go out to eat. We'll do takeout. And Dan calls me at 7:30, like, to remind me about the podcast, and I'm like, "Oh crap! Am I like missing it?" I didn't realize it was at 9. And I'm like, I just ordered my second drink. I'm already like got a little buzz going.
Tuned up.
And it was.
So is your lovely wife not going to bring you in old fashioned this time?
So we were out, so it was not her responsibility. The bar made it. It was really good too. Nice expensive place, semi-expensive place.
We did one of those last night. We went to a semi-expensive place last night.
I love semi-expensive place.
We decided, I don't know if you can relate to this, but we do so few date nights. Like we need to start doing more. Like it needs to be an intentional thing now. But somebody had asked, like, what are you guys going out for? And we're like, it's our anniversary of the last time we went on a date. Like, I don't know if it actually was, but it might as well have been.
It had been a year.
It sure as hell felt like it.
Yeah.
What's
the coolest date you guys have ever gone on?
I think I set a high bar for myself right away, and I've never been able to live up to it. A big time false expectation let down, I'm sure, for my wife.
So this was before getting married. You're like,
like our first couple dates.
Got you pregnant.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Locked in.
Yeah. But we did, like, our first date, we went bowling because we met on Match.com. I don't even know if Match.com still exists anymore.
It does. I hear the name anyway.
We met on Match.com, and so we did like a date where you can leave really easily if they suck. So we went to like grab a beer and go bowl a game. And I love bowling. Like, it's just fun.
How do you leave at frame 4? It's kind of obvious the date's not going well.
Yeah, it's just I'll bowl them both out because I'm
going to take off.
Yeah. I only ever bowl till the 4th frame. This is just
literally strike out. See ya.
I'm out of here. But we like bowled a game, and then we were like, well, should we bowl another one? We ended up bowling like 5 games, just having a hell of a time.
Wow, that's
awesome. Out way too late on a Sunday night.
Right.
We did a mini golf date. We did like a real golf date, just driving range type of stuff. That's always a good one because then you get to get behind them and get some, you get like, let me teach you how to swing.
Let me teach you how to swing.
Yeah, let me teach you.
Let's go into the clubhouse.
That's right. And then we did, I think
my clubs.
It might have been after mini golf. We went to like a bar just to grab a beer, but they had live music. And like my wife loved this and I hated this. So I think this is like good par for the course. But there was like live music playing, dude with the saxophone, and he must have just been able to smell the embarrassment on me. He serenaded us for a good 60 seconds. He just wouldn't leave. And I was just like, my wife was digging it. And I'm just as red can be in the face. Like, this is just not my scene. And I'm just like happy that this gal hasn't left yet. And now I got this dude serenading the shit out of us.
They do that for tips. And because to get them to leave, you say something like, thank you. Like, here's $3.
Oh, is that what I did wrong?
Yep.
Yeah. Damn, he just kept going. He
left. You didn't tip him.
I tried to take money from him. Like, man, you made me sit through that. Like, you owe me $5. You owe me $5.
Like, let me get that wallet, buddy.
You owe me a beer. You owe me a beer as soon as you finish up and you get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we haven't been on any like cool dates. Now a cool date is like just going out to eat and like hanging out, and that's like a huge win. We don't get a lot of those.
That was tonight for us, like going out for food. We do takeout all the time. Of course, now takeout's even easier. You don't have to drive to the place to get it.
Yeah, somebody brings it to you
on Uber Eats, and they bring it right to your house.
It's cheating. It's damn near cheating.
Yeah. What are we going to do if the power grid ever goes down? Like, I heard 90% of people in the United States will be dead within 2 years if we lose our power grid.
Oh, I believe that.
That. You know, like with the Russia-Ukraine thing going on, like what if they EMT us? Like, oh man, they can still grow potatoes. Like, we're spoiled over here.
Yeah, we're not too good. I think I'll be all right. I don't know how my kids will do, like, because they're pretty dependent on me, but like I hunt and fish like crazy and grow my own stuff anyway.
Right.
I wouldn't like relish in it, but I think I could make do with it.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be like, Uber.com is down.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. They killed my internet.
I'm on like the last 3% of my laptop battery.
Yeah. Anybody bring me some food.
Yeah.
I got this $3. So when you're done serenading me, you can bring me some Uber. Let's talk some marketing stuff. No, I got to do this. Hold on. We got sidetracked. Home Service Happy Hour brought to you by Service Monster. I got to do that because I got the sponsor now. So I got to say cool sponsorship stuff.
I love Service Monster.
Service Monster is the shit. Do you you're on the marketing side of it. Do you use it for any marketing stuff, or do your clients use it? And so you're just getting data out of it. What do you dig about Service Monster?
My clients use it, to keep track of their, they'll set up automations, to email people and text people and say, hey, we're offering this service now. They'll get their leads right in Service Monster, and it just you don't no longer have to like type in what's the name, the phone number, the address. If the form got filled out, it's already there.
Oh,
so they call the client with this on the screen and they're ready to go.
Boom.
Yeah.
I think I downplay or don't give enough credit to its text capabilities because a lot of CRMs don't have that, and emails have a place, but emails are just the new mailbox. Like, people are conditioned to think that if they get an email, it's garbage. The same way you're conditioned to think if something shows up in your mailbox, it's for recycling.
Yeah.
Like, we're conditioned that way now. I kind of wonder when texts are going to be that way. Like, what's going to replace text to the point where like you just don't even look at your text messages anymore. You only look at whatever else is new that I'm not smart enough to know what it would be.
I open 10% of my emails. I like make sure it's from someone I know, but I will at least look at 100% of my text messages.
Yeah.
I don't.
But now they're getting spammy too, though. I get so much. Yeah.
But the difference with our customers that are on Service Monster, they've done something for them before. So the text, instead of saying, hey, do you want your house power washed? I see you're in Poughkeepsie, or whatever.
Yeah.
You can be like, hey, it's Jason from Service Monster Pressure Washing. Just wanted to see if you got your house pressure washed in March. Just wanted to see, did you want to get that done again? 15% off for doing it in the fall.
Yeah.
And you can
come in like your buddies.
Right. Yeah. Or you can send a text like refer a friend, get $100 credit. Or, hey, I'm doing lighting for the holiday season. We're doing chimney cleaning now, and you can send 4,000 text messages. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not the Service Monster expert, but let's say you've got to send 4,000 texts out like that. Hey, we do chimney cleaning now. You can set it to do 400 a day, so you don't overwhelm your admins.
Yeah,
right. Because my God,
done that before. Like, oh shit, we need to batch these up. This is
300 great. Phone calls over 2 days, and then crickets.
This is great, and it's creating a massive problem.
Yeah, so you can space things out like that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I'm glad that was the best Service Monster commercial, because I didn't know that you enjoyed it, and obviously, like, you have the same type of clientele that I have, so I assume you had seen it before. But I do find, like, and I'm frugal because I'm a finance guy, but I see all the CRMs. Service Monster is my favorite one, and it's not perfect. It's not bulletproof. It's not for everybody, just like everything that's out there. But damn, it's the right price too. There's so many of them that are like 400, 500, up to $1,000 or more for a CRM that doesn't really do any more. And Service Monster scales as you scale. But man, they have a version that's like $50 a month. They have one that's like $100 a month, $200 a month. Like, it's just affordable, super fairly priced, does an awesome job, and they actually answer their phone when you call them, which is just this novel idea for anybody that has a service business, even if it's a SaaS business.
Right.
When you call them, that they answer their phone. That's cool.
Yeah, because you can. I think you can do voicemail drops with them also. It's like 10 cents extra,
okay,
and you don't even have to talk to a person, right? You can just drop a voicemail, bypass the call. Like, I didn't want to talk to them anyway. Just like, hey, sorry I missed you. I didn't even try to call you. I just want to let you know we'll be there to pressure wash your house tomorrow. So voicemail drops is a cool feature. So I forget what the next thing I was going to say was, as a result of the second bourbon we mentioned, probably.
Mm-hmm. Where's your third bourbon? Where's the third one?
And I'm cooked. Despite my gargantuan size, I cannot handle my liquor like I can when I was younger.
That's why I'm sticking with the Coors Lights. It's just 16 ounces of water with not that great of a flavor, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, this sows my pee.
Yeah, it's good for hydration. It's good for your pee's not.
Well, my pee's not, but
Coors Light is.
Yeah.
Let's get into. I have one other thing I want to bring up, and I don't know how much it's going to sidetrack us, because I want to spend a ton of time talking about LSA.
Okay.
But I want to talk about how we measure stuff, because I think this gets into one of the conundrums I have with organic stuff coming from Google versus Google ads versus Google local service ads, which is, I don't know what to do with the date. Like, it's hard for me to tell where they're coming from. So here's a challenge that I have. And I actually was like coaching a group today on measuring their acquisition cost and measuring their ROI and the math behind it and how to do it. And one thing that I don't know if there's a right answer to it, but that I always get hung up on is, there's so many different awareness marketing things we can do that don't on their own convert well. But damn, it's so obvious they positively impact Google, but it's hard to draw the line. So example, we used to do a lot of radio and TV, and we'd have an offer that said, like, say you heard us here and you get this, right? And we always would try to have a way to track it, but not everybody would say it. But for damn sure, when we would run those ads, the number of Google clicks we were getting was always way up, right?
Yeah.
And the number of clients, hard to tell exactly how much, but we always had to take our acquisition cost on radio with a grain of salt. Because it's like, yeah, we know it's not as good as Google, but it's driving the acquisition cost of Google down for sure.
Right.
Now we spent damn near $100,000 on billboards this year, and that acquisition cost is horrendous. But our Google leads are up 3x.
Right.
And so it's like, well, that didn't just happen by accident. We're not really spending any more money on Google. But we also, and this is just, maybe I'm an idiot and I don't know how to do it, and maybe you know the way, but whether it's organic or Google ads or Google local service ads, we don't have a way to know which one's which right now. Maybe there's a way to know. Maybe you're a smarter guy than, well, you're for sure a smarter guy than I am, but maybe you're smart enough to know how to do that. Ours just all end up being Google. And so we obviously know leads go up and down as we do more other awareness stuff, as we spend more on ads. We got Google ads running, we got local service ads running. I don't know how much is getting paid to each because they just kind of get billed together. But I do know when we do a bunch of other shit, Google gets all the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Is there a way to like parse that out or have an idea of the impact of all these other things that we do, and whether it's positively impacting organic or Google ads or local service ads or a little bit of everything?
Yeah. Can I do a screen share?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Present button, share screen, screen sharing tips, download PDF to learn how to use StreamYard. Okay, give me 20 minutes to read this. Just kidding.
And one more bourbon.
Yeah. Okay, are you able to see my screen here?
Oh, there it is. Here, let me check this out. Bam. There we go.
Okay. Let me pull up.
We got a little heat map. We're going heat mapping.
Heat map. Let me show you a different one. So just so everyone following along is clear, we're not talking about LSA ads right now. We're talking about like how to measure an impact something has on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, because I've got a before and after in here also.
It always, your computer always works 10x slower when you've got a live feed going with a video and a screen share.
Yeah.
So it challenges the processing power.
Okay, so
look at that.
All right, so here is a pressure washing client of ours that we started doing SEO for. I signed them in January, so our first rank tracker was February 1st. And so what will happen is, usually when you're on your front porch, you're going to rank very well. You know, you type in what you do, you're going to type well. If it was your brand name, you'll probably rank all over for your brand name. But this happens to be for the term pressure washing.
Mm-hmm.
So on his front porch, he ranked #1, but nowhere else. Right?
Dude, people on his front porch love that guy.
Yes, his wife would use him like, "Go pressure wash the house, honey." It's
she would totally use his service. It'd be hilarious if she did. It'd be hilarious if he was #2 on his front porch.
Oh my god!
And like when he was out working, his wife hired somebody else to come pressure wash.
Yeah, just the test. I can feel the testosterone leaving his body.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When you went like a half mile, you lost 2 ranks. You go a half mile, you lose another 2. Half mile, you lose another 2. So what'll happen is Google wants to rank people that are right around you because they know they'll get better service. But there's an algorithm that says, how far should I rank you? How powerful is this Google listing? And one of the factors in that, there's 200 ranking factors, but they all fall into 3 categories.
You went over them last time, so I'm like embarrassed. I was like, shit, I should be able to regurgitate these to you, but I won't remember the words.
Yeah, so I won't go too deep. We only skimmed across them, but content, backlinks, and traffic. And so what Dan is saying, hey, we ran a radio ad for somebody. Why are we getting more Google leads? Well, you affected your traffic because people are Googling Dan's pressure washing now. Next thing you know, the listing is stronger. So as you're measuring, let's say you're like, okay, I spent $5,000 in radio ads. It brought in $8,000 worth of work. It's really not worth it. However, if you have a rank tracker like this set up, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly, and you're like, man, after running 3 months of radio ads, we actually our Google presence is better. We started getting more Google leads. Mm-hmm. What you can then say is like, okay, maybe we just broke even on the radio ads, but the spillover was it helped with our SEO.
Yeah.
So one of the first times I realized, before I even heard traffic was a ranking factor, when I had a home service business, I did Facebook ads, and that was the thing that like blew my GMB listing up. I'm like, oh my God, I rank now.
About the time you're about to cancel it because you're like, these Facebook ads don't convert for shit.
And I was like, wow, I rank 25 miles away from my term. What the heck? That's impossible. I ranked for a county I wasn't in, and I had a competitor in that county, and I outranked him, and I'm not even in that county. Of course, I had my SEO on point, but it was the traffic. So I had the content on point already, and then once I added the traffic, holy crap. And now we have tools to measure that. This was anecdotal evidence that
which is like what I have. I'm like, I can tell there's an impact, and I know the total number of leads that are coming through Google.
Yeah.
And so I can see like there's a high correlation, but
yeah. So here's what a lot of guys do. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Download PDF. A lot of guys are like, okay,
here we go.
I Google pressure washing Seattle. I'm paying an SEO guy, and I'm number 8. The guy's not doing his job. I'm Squeegee Pros. The guy's not doing his job. Okay, so you might not rank for the pressure washing Seattle with the city modifier. But the funny thing is, if you did a city modifier on this, it would not vary like this. It wouldn't be 1 here and 20 here. The whole thing would be 7 if that's how you rank. The whole thing.
Because I can't. I think you're pointing at stuff, but for whatever reason, it's not letting me see your cursor.
Oh, bum, 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 bum. Okay, so right here, because I'm just doing a search term, I'm having varying results.
Yep.
Whereas if I instead did this for pressure washing Seattle, what would happen is, even if I'm here, even if I'm in Antarctica, the whole world would rank as number 7. So it would just be a bunch of 7s across the board if I used a city modifier.
Oh, interesting. Because that, like, for that term everywhere,
yes,
like you're on that listing at number 7.
That's correct. So yes, getting a city term is powerful, but actually most people do not use a city term. And that's why something like this is so powerful. That's why you need to do SEO, because the after picture, 5 months of SEO later, and he's ranking number 1 everywhere. And this is a mutual friend of ours. This is not like I think the 3 of us have had a beer before.
It's highly possible if I'm involved that
I think he's how I met you. Yeah, probably there was alcohol involved. So this is not like, something I pulled off the internet. This is a mutual friend of ours.
So this is organic data, right? This is organic ranking. Is there a way to tell? Because I also have a high suspicion that when we do those billboards, like, people are going to Google. I think some people are conscious enough to scroll down, but I think a lot of people are lazy and they're just clicking the local service ad and they're just clicking the Google ad, wherever. If they recognize the name, they're not going to scroll down to the map pack or we're one of the top organic listings, but I suspect people are shortcutting and just not scrolling all the way down. But I don't know how to tell, like, if we just looked at all of our Google leads, I don't know how to tell how many came from LSA, how many came from Google ads, and how many came from organic or like map pack clicks. Is there any way to know that data? Does Google do that behind the scenes for you anywhere?
Yeah. Let me pull up a bum 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 bum.
Bubba that up.
Bum 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 bum.
This Coors Light's delicious, darn it. Oh, Brendan Horn's checking in. What's up, Brendan Horn? We were just looking at pressure washing Seattle. I saw Johnny Tsunami in that map pack there. But Brendan, I think I saw you guys are like number 6. What's going on out there, Brendan?
Is he really in Seattle?
Yeah. Johnny Tsunami on that last screenshot that you did. His business is in there.
Really? That's so funny. Yeah, bro, you need to rank better.
His ears must have been ringing.
Okay. So this is the local service ads. So when you do a Google search, what should happen is you're seeing this first, but it does have a sponsored condition. And then you got your pay-per-click with, site links inside the pay-per-click, and it says sponsored. But then people usually will scroll down to
how many people do you think are actually scrolling down though? Do you think it's
most people skip the ads? About
you think so?
70 to 75% of people skip the ads and they come down to the map pack and they click one of these results or they click one of the websites. The reason that ads are still so powerful is I can run ads not just in this one county. I run ads for this guy in probably 13 counties.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine I'm running ads. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Oops, share this tab instead. So here's my SEO for this one county. But what about this county? What about that county? What about this crossing the state line, running ads over here? Mm-hmm. So yeah, SEO is more powerful per search, but Google ads and local service ads can get you in front of thousands more Google searches. So you're getting 30% of a huge pie, and then close to your home, you'll be more like 70%, but of a smaller pie. So that's why we have to do both.
Yeah.
The other reason we do both is you put money into the ads, whether it's pay per click or LSA ads, local service ads, Google guaranteed, same thing. Mm-hmm. You put the money in, you get the money right back. With SEO, you put the money in, it's like getting a big cruise ship going. Your return on investment is the momentum.
Yep.
But it feels expensive at first because you're putting money into it. However,
it's always an unknown. Like it depends on your competition. It depends who you're using. It depends what the economy's doing. There's a lot more unknowns.
Because I would dare say 95% of SEO companies are smoke and mirrors.
I think that's about my experience.
Yeah, most people are not really doing SEO.
Yeah.
So either you have an SEO guy set this up from day one, and then so that you can see, are you really accomplishing anything for me? Or you, even if they're not skilled enough to do this, first of all, you probably shouldn't be using that particular SEO guy.
Yeah.
But you may want to do this on your own or contract someone to do this just to check on their work and make sure you actually get some progress. This is my report card on how we're doing.
Oh, hell yeah. Is there a way to tell, does that get influenced at all by ad spend? Like if you're running Google ads or local service ads, does that organic SEO stuff get negatively impacted, positively impacted, or just no impact?
So maybe 6 years ago or so, Google got sued and they said, you are unfairly increasing the search ranking of people that are running ads because there was such a strong correlation.
Yeah.
But really what was happening was you could have been using Bing ads. You could have been, from my experience, Facebook ads, and you were just getting the traffic. And they tried to explain that to people. But when Google is sitting, I'm not saying they were sitting in front of senators, but you know how that sort of thing goes.
Yeah.
Google's sitting in front of senators and you're running ads and now everyone is ranking better. Like, explain that. Like, you're being greedy, you so-and-sos. So yeah, it caught a lot of people's attention. I don't know how much they kind of scaled back on that algorithm. I know if it was me, I would have scaled back at least temporarily.
Yeah.
But also it might not even matter whether it was paid traffic or organic traffic. Sometimes you just can't scale that out. Like if it's traffic, if it's a factor, it's a factor.
Traffic is traffic.
Traffic's traffic. And the cool thing about Google Ads is you will get like high intent traffic, right? So the pressure washing near me, pressure washing Seattle, keywords that you put in that you say, when this pops up or a close variation of this pops up, come to the website. As long as it's on the same domain and not a subdomain or like a landing page on a different website, then the traffic should benefit you.
Count it.
I'm not saying that traffic's like worth it for ranking. It needs to stand its own. But yeah, traffic typically helps SEO.
Okay. Is there any way to tell? Like we spend money on Google ads, we spend money on LSA, but it all just shows up on like one bill. They pull it all out collectively. Is there any way to tell which ones are coming from which? Or like I know on LSA you can like see all the leads that come through there, and so is that the best place to identify LSA leads and just assume every other Google click is a Google ads click?
Yeah, so that sort of leads me into my first Google sheet I was going to share with you.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Oops, almost hit the wrong button.
That could have been dangerous.
Yeah, delete hard drive.
Watch out for that button.
Where am I? Oh, yeah, 7 things. Bum, 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 bum. Okay.
Here we go.
It should be, you should be looking at 2 separate dashboards. So it might say the same thing on your credit card, like it might say Google Ads or Google, but they are 2 different dashboards.
Yeah.
You don't use the same URL to log in to your LSA ads as you do for your Google ads. Repeat the question though. What was the question that you had for me?
How do you know? Yeah, I don't know. It's like you can tell the leads, but I can't tell the cost. Or at least I don't know if I can tell the cost.
Okay. So I have to hide some of this data because there's actual there was actual like client stuff in columns A through C. But one of the columns there is the phone number that we're using for LSA ads. So what you could do, you could set up like a call rail number and say when and you give LSA ads this phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And you give your pay-per-click guy phone number 2, and your Google listing has your original phone number. Usually at some point in time, companies get big enough, they will change that to a tracking number. And then, LSA ads, pay-per-click, SEO, they come through, and then you can get a report from call rail. And it'll tell you like how many phone calls that got. But also, usually you can get reporting, at least for pay-per-click, showing like we spent this much, we had this many clicks, and this many leads came out of it. But I would perhaps do 3 separate phone numbers.
I'm trying to think too, is like phone numbers are okay, but they also don't then capture all of the responsible form fill outs or the people that message you on LSA that don't call. I'm just trying to think
so that would fall into your if it was a form fill out, that would fall into the way you handle that is on your Google Ads landing page. So you do not run ads to your homepage. You run ads to a landing page. So it might be Dan's pressure washing /invitation-1, right? Will be your first landing page. That page gets a unique contact us form. And when somebody fills that out, as you get the email or as it goes in the right Service Monster bucket.
Yeah. Thanks for clicking on our Google ad.
Plug for the sponsor. Yeah. Not only does the email say this is a lead from Google Ads, if you have like one campaign in Seattle and one in Renton or where, a nearby city, you can even say this was a lead from Seattle. This is an AdWords lead from Renton. And you can track your forms that way. So that's how I would do the phone numbers and the forms. Got
it. Makes sense.
Okay. So would it be okay with you if I ran through a few of these?
Yeah, dude, this is it. Let's
this doesn't look familiar. We didn't go over this last time, right? Because last time we did all pay-per-click last time, right?
We did a lot of organic GMB type of stuff. And then we got into pay-per-click, and then we were gonna get into LSA, but we were like, we've already been going for like an hour and a half.
Right.
Save it. So now we're getting back into it.
All right. So one thing I like about LSA ads is that you pay per phone call connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although it technically doesn't guarantee cheaper leads than pay-per-click, that is what we're experiencing right now, cheap leads.
Yeah.
So they don't charge for someone looking at the profile, whereas with Google pay-per-click, they do charge for that. It's literally pay-per-click.
Yeah, somebody clicks it and boom,
yeah,
you're in it.
This is pay-per-lead. Third thing you didn't know about LSA ads, your location matters, right? So let's say I live in Florida. I could be Johnny Tsunami's competitor with pay-per-click. I can run ads in Seattle from my website in Florida. It does not matter. And I can start getting leads with pay-per-click, same cost leads.
Mm-hmm.
With LSA, location does matter. This is a pro and this is a con. Okay. Yeah. The pro is I cannot have but so many competitors. The con is if I want work an hour from my house, I either can't get it or I'm really starting to dial up my cost per lead.
I better go rent a location.
Yeah, so I'm going to get into that. Yeah. So if you live 10 minutes from a homeowner, you can get leads for, let's say, $20.
Mm-hmm.
If you live 20 minutes away, $40. If you live an hour away, it could start being like $70, $80 to be the number one ad. So
that makes total sense. I don't know. I never thought about that before. Like, of course, they're not Google distant service ads. They're Google local service ads.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that it's going to like thread the needle towards more local leads.
Yeah.
And it makes sense with every time I've ever searched for it. Like I'm 40 minutes from our office. We show up every once in a while, but we only show up in the winter because everybody else pulls theirs down. And I'm not, and maybe this is stupid of me. I'm like, leave ours up.
Right.
What's the point in pulling it down? Like nobody's gonna click on it. And if they do, they're wanting something. And there's nobody else out there, so we might as well leave it open. It's not like we're paying to have that real estate. It's free real estate. We're just paying if somebody decides they like our real estate.
Yep. We might scale back pay-per-click a little, but for LSA ads, keep them going.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bid separately for your weekly budget versus what you're willing to pay per lead. We usually run the weekly budget very high. Okay.
Yeah, and they never spend it all. I've never seen them actually spend all of the weekly budget.
So just pretend you have like $2,000 a week, and you could still spend like $200 a week. Go ahead and just have your weekly budget high. You don't ever want Google to say, I'm like, oh, you spent your $200. You must not want leads on Thursday and Friday, right? Mm-hmm. Just have a nice high weekly budget and then dial in realistically what you want to pay per lead.
Does it, there's the option to like set your, I forget if I might get this backwards, but I think there's an option to set your budget and let Google most economically figure out the cost per lead and try to fill up your budget.
Yeah, but that's called max leads.
Yeah.
And if you do this, then I don't want Google guessing what I'm willing to pay per lead. So what I recommend is choosing a manual bid, not a max bid, and just having a nice high cost per lead. In fact, let's say you're willing to spend 70 per lead. You may choose to bid 85 per lead because you'll end up averaging. You'll get some leads for 65, some leads for 85. I meant 55 and 85. Again, the
better average. That average is better to 70. Is there do you ever get to see how much you spent for a lead?
For each one individually? So at the end of the month, I get a report from my girl saying my client got this many leads. This was the average cost per lead. I don't remember if we see what each individual lead cost us. Because
That maybe goes back to what I was trying to decipher before is like, I know how much we pay in total to Google every month, but I don't know how much was for LSA versus Google ads.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So absolutely. So like at the end of the month, yeah, like at my agency, this comes to me and my client at like on the 1st of the month. Like, so October 1st, you would have got a report that said, hey, on September, you got 23 leads. Total spent was 761.32. Therefore, your average cost per lead was 41.13.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it's just a matter of logging into LSA ads and checking total leads and what was tallied. You don't have to look at the credit card receipt. You can see that right in the LSA dashboard. Okay. I will say they don't have like as good a reporting as pay-per-click. It's a younger platform and Google's treating it completely separate. It's almost like, hey, we've got this separate company. Would you like to run ads with us?
Yeah.
We're cannibalizing pay-per-click. We're competing with ourselves. And it's a separate company, separate dashboard. This one has a background check. The other one has advertiser verification. Like it's completely different processes. It's like it's not even the same company.
Are they senile or are they strategic in it? Or maybe a little bit of both.
I'm not going to say anything that they're doing wrong.
It does seem weird though. Like are they transitioning and over time everybody's going to be on LSA, or do they serve different purposes to different audiences and so they're going to keep both? Like, do you have an inkling of what they're trying to do with it?
Yeah. So what was happening, they were rolling out LSA ads to major cities. So like you could roll them in Baltimore, Washington, Richmond, but everywhere in between you could not.
And now I remember those days, like a few years ago, people were like, well, I can't run them. And I'd be like, oh, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
Minneapolis got some. We're good to go.
And so they started rolling them out to more cities, like mid-sized cities, finally smaller cities, and finally zip codes. There are still some zip codes and some trades that are not serviced, but it is growing fast.
Yeah.
Oops, I never shared this tab. Oh my goodness. You got to help me out when that happens. Yeah, so like they were in Baltimore, Washington, Richmond, and then they started getting a lot of the smaller towns, and then they've been filling in the country.
Yep.
It seems like it is still on a per trade basis though. Like the big trades get it all, the medium trades get the cities, and weak trades still are with like major cities only.
Majors. Yep.
I can't say that 100% though. But it does.
It's a natural. It'd be a natural evolution of it, though.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Where were we?
We're talking about LSA. Is there?
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm on it. Is there a reason to do more of one and less of the other? And when I say one or the other, I mean LSA and Google Ads, unless I specify. Like, should everybody always be doing both? Should you weigh one higher versus the other, or is it super situational, super geographical, super industry specific? Like, how do they play together? And I'll ask my follow-up question after. I got like 3 more questions, but
okay, great question. So typically for most people, you should have them both going and have a budget going to them. With LSA, it's kind of easy to say, I'm willing to spend $75 a lead, hook me up. And then with pay-per-click, you're like, okay, I'm willing to spend this amount per click, but then how's my landing page doing? How are my keywords doing? How is it doing in this city? How, blah, blah, blah. However, with pay-per-click, you will get the best clients of any source of advertising outside of a referral. Nothing beats a referral, right? But what I mean,
a repeat client beats a referral, just barely. A repeat client.
Yeah, repeat.
Because then they'll also give you a referral.
Right.
They'll repeat and give you a referral.
Yeah.
I was texting somebody to say, hey, I'm live with Jason. You should come and watch, because her and I have had conversations over and over again about this. And I was like, shit, I got to text her.
Yeah.
But did I hear you right that pay-per-click is like is still the best?
The best client you can get. And if you have a good pay-per-click guy.
Yeah.
So I've only ever seen one other person use demographics. And this was recently, because I used to come on and say, I've done 150 Google ad audits. I've never seen someone do this, what I'm about to tell you. I have seen another person do it since then, like 2 weeks ago, I saw it. But they did like plus 5%, plus 10%.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to claim that of all the Google ad audits I've done, my company is the only one I've seen doing this. Google has information on us that says they know, Dan, how much money you have, right? If you are Googling for 2025 Lexus RX hybrid, they're like, oh, this dude's looking for a $75,000 car. That's just like your girl. She's noticed what car you pulled up in. Google's noticing that and tallying data.
She didn't, when I pulled up for that date, that car was clean. I don't think just like this shirt with this 2-year-old baby drool on it.
Yeah.
Still here. I don't think I like sold that car since. I don't think I ever washed it again.
Right.
That was my last lucky wash, because I got a second date out of it.
So just like your girl notices what car you drive, Google and attributes how much money. You don't think Google is doing that when their job is to sell data to advertisers? So on the flip side, if I'm like, I need a used alternator for my 1995 Dodge Neon, they're like, oh,
they got you pegged, bro.
Yeah, they got you pegged. Google's a gold digger. Ooh, next podcast idea.
There you go.
So Google's a gold digger. So what you can do is use that to your advantage. So as you've got a window cleaning company, right? So as somebody is searching for window cleaning company near me, I want you to picture 2 computers, right? And in one computer, there's a guy working the fry line at McDonald's. He makes $15 an hour. He just celebrated because Seattle, they're very liberal. They raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
He's flipping those fries in that basket.
I'm so grateful for all those people, right? On the flip side, someone and he searches window cleaning services near me, and his boss owns 20 McDonald's franchises, has a $7 million house, and he Googles window cleaning services near me. Who would you rather advertise to?
I'm gonna go with the obvious choice.
Yeah,
that guy flipping fries is for sure gonna buy. The other guy's going to scrutinize and compare. Yeah. The guy flipping fries is just like, man, I'm just happy I can afford window cleaning.
So it matters to whom you're advertising. And with Google pay-per-click, unlike LSA, unlike SEO, unlike a lot of advertising, unlike a billboard or a radio ad, you can say, if this person is rich, I want to be up here in the ads, right? Because there's ad ranks. I'm willing to spend 40% more for this click. And if they're just a little rich, 20% more, 15, 10, 0, negative 33, right? So there's different tiers and you can adjust. So it's like going to an auction and you see a 69 Camaro, you're like this.
I want
right?
that one.
Set up Google ads that way. And it'll be the best leads that you have coming in.
That's a good point, because my homie Teresa jumped in. She says, I came to scroll and you popped up. Hey,
Teresa.
This is a conversation Teresa and I have had before. She's like, every once in a while, my LSA ads just kind of turn into shit. Like the leads are bad, but the more LSA I do, the more I notice not as good leads. And so maybe that, and I'm not a marketing expert. I'm just kind of like, yeah, they kind of come and go, and I wouldn't shut it down. Like, just know you might have to sift through more, but they're still cost effective. So as long as the acquisition cost still works and it's not a total drain, It doesn't seem like a shutdown necessarily, but maybe a reposition some dollars. But
well,
I didn't realize, you had mentioned it last time, but it's like hitting it home is, LSA, you can't filter that out. You're just going to get whatever click. I don't think I realized with Google Ads you could filter that out and use them demographically that way.
Yes, with Google Ads, you have a lot of power. You can say, I only want clicks from rich people, or if they're rich, I'll bid $14. If they're normal, I'll bid 10. If they're poor, I'll bid 7, and then let your ad rank adjust accordingly. With LSA ads, what you could do is you could look at a demographics map of the area and kind of carve your area. So let's say Teresa's in Bellevue here, or Johnny Karate's in Bellevue. Johnny Tsunami, sorry, Johnny.
Johnny Karate's over there too, though. Guy's involved in a lot of stuff. He's involved in a lot of stuff.
So don't say like, hey, I'll service a 45-minute radius. Carve this sucker out so that you're filling in the water, of course. And then you're filling in everything north of you, lots of money over here. But then don't run LSA ads to the poor part of town. And then your local service ads are only showing to richer areas. So that's one thing you could potentially do for your LSA ads to help them out a little bit, Teresa. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, I dig it. She had said too, Google ads are rocking. LSA, shut them down. It was horrid. Maybe 1 out of 20 was good.
1 out of 20, yeah. That what line of work?
Maid service.
Okay. I would check what categories are checked off. Was it like the wrong trade or just crap leads? Yeah, that's possibly something I would check. I have a doc on here. I think we're going to run out of time again, but I can literally go over the things that we do to wake up an LSA campaign that's not getting any phone calls and why it got that way. Okay.
Let's do it. We got time. I got time as long as you got time.
3 more things here.
Hit them.
There is an algorithm to rank your local service ads, just like there is with your Google ad rank and with SEO. So there's a combination of factors. LSA ads have card positions like we showed you before. They run from left to right, right? Okay, so this is
locksmiths in a zip code.
Yeah. So like this is the number 1 ad, this is number 2, and this is the order that people will naturally want to research. So with Google ads, it goes top to bottom. With these, it goes left to right. So although arguably you have a better chance of getting a click over here than, because top to bottom, you got to go 1, 2, 3. But generally speaking, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So you want to get the number 1 ad position, but you definitely want to get in the top 3. And if you're
not on the top 3, the odds of getting clicked have to be so ridiculous.
Yeah, there's more to hack than just what you're willing to pay per lead, right? So I have a sheet that goes over the ranking factors. But yeah, one of the bids is, especially if you're far away, bidding aggressively helps. But one of the things is the response rate, meaning what percentage of the time do you pick up your phone? So Google is in this for the long haul. So just imagine that you're Google and you want LSA ads to work for a long time, and you've got 2 guys. One of them is paying you $100 per phone call, and he answers his phone 100% of the time. Another guy's paying you $200 per phone call, but he only picks up 1 in 2 calls. And he only picks up 1 and 2 calls, right? So which one of those would you rather have if you were Google?
The dude every time, man.
Okay, now they're both worth $100 to Google.
Worth the same. They're both worth the same.
They're both worth the same. However, so we have mathematical evidence that those leads are worth the same. However, in my company, we have a theory, because some of these ranking factors show us that Google cares that that person returns a second and a third time. So what happens to the person that, because 50% of this guy's leads did not get answered, are they going to use Google next week? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy picking up the phone every time, Google
makes
says
Google look better.
Google says, okay, they're coming back. So response rates may be more than proportionately important.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that, let me show you the math.
Oh, yeah, I like this. Spreadsheets, baby.
So for your phone answer rate, let's say you're both bidding $100, and you have a phone answer rate of $75. I used to have this as an effective bid of $75. We now believe that there's an inverse curve.
Oh, I see. You had a phone answer rate of 75%, so you would have had the effective bid at $75. But now you're saying if your live answer rate is lower, you're actually going to like lose
because Google's making the same amount this week, but they'll be making less next week. So they don't like client one at all.
Yep.
Because they are long-term losing them customers.
Yep.
So they really like this guy. So we believe
95% of the phone calls answered, and therefore your effective bid when you do the effective bid is just you trying to replicate roughly what you're thinking they're doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So for that reason, once a week we test all our clients, and we say, so we'll call the LSA phone number and we'll find out, did they pick up the call or did they not? And we will gently call them out and say, answer your freaking phone. And here's why. You know why I'm doing that? Because I got tired of this guy saying to me, why are my LSA ads not working? And now I can be like,
makes sense too now, where like I was always under the impression, man, we want to get every lead possible. Let's run them 24/7. But this would make sense. You don't want to get every lead possible because it's going to cause them to send you worse, shitty leads later if you're getting a bunch of calls when you're not answering the phone.
It's not that you'll get worse leads from them, because Google doesn't know if it's going to be a good lead.
Yeah, they won't discriminate the good leads versus the bad.
But your quantity of leads will be lower.
Okay.
So we're now testing all our clients, because literally this guy, I won't share his name, but like some people have called me and said, hey, the LSA ads are not working anymore. Well, now we've got evidence, and we're like, hey, doofus brain, you haven't picked up your phone in 8 weeks. So number one, you don't know that LSA has been sending you leads. Number two, they now don't want to send you leads. They want to send it to these guys. So answer the phone.
The easiest thing. It's the easiest thing.
Okay, reviews matter. And what we think works even more than quantity of reviews is the review rate, meaning like it's better to have 2 or 3 reviews per week than to have 1 review per week coming in. So yes,
you got 1,000 of them. They're just old.
But you've been dead for 6 months.
Yeah.
Google does not. They're wondering if you're 65 years old and you're not in business anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting a quantity of reviews, total and recent, is important.
Wait, are you looking at your?
Oh man, I did it again.
There we go. But that time I caught it faster.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm on it now.
Okay. More deeper stuff we can get into. This is This is like how we would wake up a dead account. That's how we test. Okay. All right. Another thing to keep in mind that we found out is we keep track of when our client's certificate of insurance needs to be renewed.
Yeah, that's really annoying that like that every year that comes around and it knocks out your Google guaranteed status. Like always forget. And then we're like, oh shit. Like we're locked up again.
However, one thing that that we think we have noticed is about 2 months before the COI is due to be renewed. Like sometimes we won't get leads anymore, and we're like wondering why. Like there's nothing has triggered, but we've seen it enough that we think there's a pattern that they don't want to send us leads if our insurance, expires next month. So in a company meeting, the way this was brought up was what it seems like is Google's like, okay, it's October now. Your insurance, cancels November 1st. You're getting the phone number for my client. Is it going to take a week for you to get out and do an estimate? Or are you going to schedule the job for November 20th? Well, your insurance expires November 1st. Never mind the fact that it's only October 9th that we're doing this podcast. I don't want to send you a lead right now because you'll be uninsured by the time you're doing work for my client.
Yeah.
So one thing that we're doing for our clients now is we keep track of the COI, and we're calling them 2 months before it expires and saying, hey,
get a new one.
Mind re-upping for a year.
Yeah.
And we explain to them why. So not only don't let it expire, don't let it come close to expiring.
Yeah.
Just like with SEO, like if you renew your domain, like if you send it 3 years out instead of 1 year out, it's like a teeny tiny ranking factor that says,
we're going to be around for a minute.
We're going to be around for a bit.
Yeah.
Very small, but Google cares.
It's a game of inches, man. It's a game of inches.
Yeah. I'm losing my voice. We've been on for about an hour.
I love this one. I can answer this one. Teresa said, Dan, I'm going to ask you what a COI is. That is the certificate of insurance thing, like the one pager that Google LSA asks for and whoever else. I don't like anytime you have a bigger commercial contract, they always ask for it too. And then it's the document where you're never quite sure where the hell you saved it. I know that one for sure. Because every time I need mine, I'm just like, where is it? I know I have it. I'm sure I saved it. Did I save it on Google Drive somewhere? Or is it on my hard drive somewhere? Never remember where I saved that damn thing.
Yeah. We keep a copy now on file in case it, because we've had it come up where we had to send it again. Okay, so one of the things we talked about was what's the percentage of the time that you're picking up the phone. I don't know how deep we got into this, but proximity to the client. These numbers are a little bit more arbitrary, meaning I made them up. But let's say that you're bidding $100 and you're 3 miles from the client, your effective bid is 95. But if you're 20 miles away, your bid may be 50. So you're ranking number 1 here, but you move away 20 miles away, you're not going to be getting a lot of leads.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you would have to up your entire bidding, not like you can't say bid higher over here.
The only way would be to have like a physical location. It's tied to your GMB, right? So it's looking at where your Google business profile thing is.
Yeah. So pro tip, you hinted to it earlier. If your service area is large enough, you could consider dropping another Google listing. It'll help your Google rankings in that town, but it's also a good platform to run LSA ads from. So we had a client go from 1 to 4 Google listings.
Like, real listings or fake listings? Is that a fair question to ask? Like, because I feel like I've seen listings and I'm like, they don't have a location there. And we dabbled in that, but we like rented a small office for $200 so that we could have a location to tie back to a GMB, because like Google started getting weird. I mean, weird, but protective about like, nah, you got to have like a real place. Can't just be like a made up address or made up building or whatever.
I can neither confirm nor deny that they're real.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Does it help to have that brick and mortar or someplace where you can point to, or does it not matter as long as you can get a listing up and running?
Yeah. So it used to be that you sent a postcard in.
Yeah.
And now the way that works is you go onto the Google app and you do like a live FaceTime, and you say, hey, this is my sign, this is my office, this is my truck, these are my tools, I'm walking in the office. And if you're doing that from a house, for instance, then you got to show you have access like to the house, the garage, and then you like show them your truck, so the more things that you have, like if you have a yard sign, that's a huge plus. A lettered up truck, a lettered up shirt, phone number on the truck. So let's just say in my younger days, like to make sure that you pass that, even if you just had to get like a magnetic sign for the truck, you want a unique phone number for that location. So you can get a magnetic sign, buy a phone number, put it on the sign. Make sure you have a shirt with the right name on it. Maybe also buy a driveway sign from Vistaprint. And then you can do, we can talk more about the details later, but you would need to do a video from an address and show that you have permission. Some people have just paid for temporary permission.
I'm here at my in-laws' house, and this is where we're at right now. We're running this business from here. And if you did like 4 of them, you'd have to wear like Groucho Marx glasses on one of them, and then like shave your beard really funny for another one, and wear sunglasses and a backwards hat for another one.
Right.
Change your accent a little bit.
But then one of the benefits when you're done with that is all of a sudden in that area, you're the #1 ad rank again instead of number 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many more leads that you get. I can tell you. Let me pull up another screen.
I was gonna say, there's got to be something. There's got to be something in there.
Can you see my screen with the report?
Not yet. I'm still looking at that Google sheet.
Good. You're not supposed to be able to see it.
Oh, you're sneaking one by me.
Or I can't show you this screen. But whereas like one location is getting 22 leads, another location is getting 29. One location is getting 7 leads, one location is getting 47. So we have one location doing a little weak right now, but because we have 3 more, it doesn't affect us. Whereas if we had a 1 location client and it was doing weak, we're like, oh crap, we're screwed. But that's another one of the benefits is you can be diversified, almost like having your stock in 4 different places.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't share that screen, but we can picture
it.
Yeah.
It's like it increases the ceiling, but it doesn't necessarily lower the floor. It just raises it a little bit. You might have one location not doing so good, but like you said,
and so you're not going to quadruple your leads because you could still have the presence of the first one. You just be like number 4, number 7. You still get some leads out of that.
But now you might get to number 1, 2, or 3 in those locations. And all of a sudden,
like literally all quadrants are 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit of an advanced trick, that you got to be likely paying someone to do. But if you need the leads and you can pay for that, great strategy.
Yeah. If you got a good outfit change policy where you can get your mustache on and this live feed.
But you can also, if you there's a whole nother hour about Google locations.
What is there? So here's the question that I didn't ask you before. That was like my next follow-up question that I want to get to.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time where you would like turn LSA off? Say you're Teresa and they're just not good leads. I had another buddy that just said like there's nothing coming through. And my pushback to him is he hadn't done it in a year or two. And I'm like, well, things change. Marketing changes faster than anything. And who cares if nothing comes through? Because then you're not paying for anything. Like, is there a reason you would turn them all the way off or scale them back to a certain level?
Would you? There's a whole thing about my LSA ads are not working. I need them fixed. How would you like to do another podcast just on that topic?
You think we need a whole nother podcast? Is that big?
I don't think you and I would ever stop talking. But I have a sheet for fixing. And so that for like 10%, 15% of your clients, that's going to pull their butt out of the fire. If you have that problem, then we can talk about why you got there and what to do to fix it. Solid half hour, maybe not an hour, but I have a feeling you would have enough questions lined up.
You know me well enough to know it's hard to shut my ass up.
Something like that. Yeah. But if you wanted, we could go into I'm getting no leads from my LSA ads. What do I do?
Yeah. So there's that case. There's the, hey, I'm not getting any leads. What do I just shut it down or do I keep it alive or whatever? And then is there a way to fix it? Actually, like, I had that happen in one of our businesses too. And that was when I realized the biggest distinction between Google ads. Like Google ads, I don't know how the hell to get a hold of anybody. Google LSA, it's like, oh, here's the phone number. I call, they answer. They're super helpful. Like it feels like a totally separate company, which it sounds like it is. But so there's the case of like, I'm getting no leads. And then there's Teresa's case where it's like, I'm just getting garbage leads. I think you kind of answered that one earlier, which is either just get it very precise on only the right areas of town. And then like only put any money and any lead flow into that. Make sure you got the right services selected. And is there a case even in that world where you're just like, it just doesn't pay?
Man, it's
always going to outperform it because you can scrutinize it more.
I don't hear Teresa's case a lot. Like, I'd want to look at the ads and maybe compare it to a demographics map. I'd want to double check, like what categories does she have? Like, I'm sure it's the right categories. Look at sometimes the business name is like, I don't know I'm sure a business name is normal, but if they used to do something else and now they also clean, and you're just decided to do the cleaning business with the same name, that can bring in the wrong clients. I just had another one. Also, maybe what pictures are showing, like what are the first couple pictures? Are you attracting the right people? Some real photos of the crew is better than like stock photos. Yeah. And you know what? So let's go ahead and do it. I'm just going to be brief. Okay.
Yeah. Let's hit some. I'm here for it. I got my fake beer over here. I got my real beer right here. I got another beer in the fridge. I'm ready to go.
Okay. So sometimes people come to us and they're like, help us set up our LSA ads. Sometimes people come to us and they're like, help me resurrect my LSA ads. This is the resurrection process. I'm not getting a lot of leads. Number one, should
I share this thing? Are we going on here? Okay.
Yeah. Am I not sharing my screen right now?
No, you were sharing it. It's like, but it puts it in a funny box at the bottom, and then I have to select it to allow it to show up for everybody. So I did that. I had to do my job. I wasn't doing my job. I was too excited.
You're just a pod, not a podcast. Like you have to cast.
That's right. Yeah, I had to cast it. You're right. You're right.
So we would get a like a Google Drive from the client and be like, hey, give us 700 pictures. And then we'll start adding like 2 pictures a week to the LSA listing. Adding it to the Google listing for your SEO does not count for this. Separate pictures. So just a bit of manual work.
Yeah.
Go in and see what's the area we're running ads to. See if you can expand the area a little bit. You may want to do like type in
your. Is it a thing you need permission from Google on, or
no? You can do this yourself.
Okay.
And you can overlap. You can put in zip codes. You can put in cities, and you can overlap them. Especially if you're in need of resurrection, I would do that. Otherwise, I would probably pick one or the other. Perhaps look into a second location. So if they view your LSA as a bad egg, starting a second location could just give you the diversification that you need to get out of the curse and start with fresh data. So maybe she bought the company and they weren't answering their phone and like, oh, why is my LSA ads bad? I would do everything you can to resurrect it, but perhaps start a second location and you start with 0 data, which might be an advantage in that case.
Yeah.
If they have a bad record with Google. Can we expand the ad schedule or contract it? So for instance, if you're running ads 24/7, but you don't answer past 5 p.m., you may want to start saying just 8 to 5, because if you get a phone call at 7 p.m. and you don't answer your phone, then this is what you're doing to yourself. You're effectively lowering your bid. You're taking by doing 24/7, you're taking your $100 bid if you're not answering the phone, and you're exponentially lowering it.
Yeah. Man, I wish I would talk to you about this years ago, because I was in my own mind, I was telling myself a story of like, of course we want to, like, as long as we get back to them fast, Google won't ding us for it.
You know, some people, one thing some people don't realize about having a marketing guy, you know, I'm doing the SEO, I'm doing the ads, I'm doing the LSA ads. Maybe we're doing like retargeting or some form of display ads for brand awareness. But it's not like just those things. Sometimes you're like, I have an intangible. My website got hacked. I need you to fix it, or I just need advice about this. And when you're doing marketing for 60 people, I've seen it all. So like sometimes it's just nice to have a guy to call when
literally literally
a Jason.
I mean, not a male female thing. I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. Literally a Jason guy. Link below.
Boom.
Oh, speaking of link, I have a course now. Can I drop that?
Oh yeah, hit it.
If we can talk Service Monster, right? Bum 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 bum. Okay, Google Ads for Babies.
I love it.
PPC video course. So I've got a course. And we've got 20 videos in there. We've got a few more to come. Each one of these is a video. Like, this is gold. Like, this is what everyone thinks they need, but you need to know all of these before you actually build. So yeah, if you want to start your own agency or run your own ads, I got a course for that.
That's sweet.
It's $31,000.
Hell yeah.
On sale for $1,500. Follow me on Facebook, and you know, I drop free stuff from this all the time, and maybe one day I'll drop a coupon code.
That's better than $30,000 off.
Oh, no, I meant like 87% off. Yeah. So far we've only ever sold it for 1,500. But drop us a follow on Facebook. But that's the link there.
I love the name. Google Ads for Babies.
Google Ads for Babies. Okay. Where were we? What page was I on? Oh yeah, here we go.
We're resurrecting an LSA.
Yeah. Do you have a CRM to get reviews on autopilot? Like Service Monster.
Service Monster. Shout out.
Whoop, whoop. Can we add more trades? So like if you do pressure washing, can we add gutter cleaning, window cleaning?
Do they play off of each other? Like if you're getting more clicks for one, does it also then lead you into getting more clicks for the other? Because you get to prove to Google like, hey, when they call for gutter cleaning, look how awesome we are.
I can only say that logically, yes, we believe that the phone answer rate is for the conglomerate.
Yeah.
So let's say you wanted to get in there in the fall and get some, you're like, I can answer the phone now. Like turn on gutter cleaning, answer the phone.
You're like, no, we don't do that.
Don't do that. But yeah, so like you can get some phone call, get your phone rate. If your phone rate was 25%, you can use this to get it back up. But really what I meant when I said this was like, I just want to get all the leads for everything that I do. Make sure the weekly budget.
So you're not saying run gutter cleaning ads, even though you don't clean gutters. Then when they call, be like, hey, we don't actually clean gutters, but how's your pressure washing lately? You need some pressure washing?
No. That's not what I mean.
No, I was kidding.
Okay. Okay, so have your weekly budget crazy high. I used to recommend max leads. I now recommend manual bid with a nice high lead.
Is there a, like, let's say I can spend $10,000 a month on Google LSA. Let's say $5,000 a month. Is it out of line to put a weekly budget of like $2,500, which would be $10,000 a month, but I only really want to spend $5,000? Like, how much above what we really want to spend should we put that weekly budget at?
Man, I think one client told me to put in $40,000.
How much of it did they actually spend?
700.
Yeah. Does it like creep up? Or I mean, like, there's only so many clicks, right? Do you find that it tends to creep up over time and they use more and more and more of the budget? Or is it basically just telling Google like, hey, blank check? If it's a lead,
telling Google to say 41,000 and to say 1,000 is practically the same. We just like being safe and putting it nice and high. I'm not recommend 40,000, but maybe figure what your real budget is and 10x it.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing is, can I increase my bid? Like if a client comes on board, what is the bid? Is it 45? And I'll do the math with them and be like, bro, you're making $2,000 on a pressure washing job. So we can spend $300 a lead. You close 1 and 2. I'm able to spend $150 a lead. Like, can we go up to that? No, that's too high. Fine. 125. I'm bidding 125. I think I mentioned this earlier. Add zip codes on top of city names, like overlap the areas if needed. I do not do this in pay-per-click.
Interesting.
Because with pay-per-click, number one, it's a more mature dashboard. You don't need to do that. With pay-per-click, I do zip codes only, and I can do a perfect map. Maps are easier with pay-per-click than they are with LSA ads.
Yeah, I've noticed that LSA is a little choppy. Sometimes you're like, there's a blank spot here, and I can see the city name, but I type that in, and it doesn't hit it.
Yeah.
And I type in the zip code, and that doesn't hit it. Like, it's a dark zone. Nobody knows what's in this area.
Yeah, so that's not the case with pay-per-click. So with pay-per-click, I want the smallest service area possible, and then I want to fill up. So if you want, I can show one service area. Let me get through this, and then I can come back and do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then lastly, so if you're doing this yourself, this doesn't apply. But if you're running an agency, then send the new picture of the service area to the client and say, hey, can we make it even bigger, or is this big? And maybe he'll say, no, don't go that far west.
Oh, I gotta get this back up on the screen. Here we go.
Okay. So that's our process for resurrecting Google Ads LSA campaign.
I dig it.
Okay.
I have a business partner that needs to watch this episode for that reason.
Yeah. Okay. I've run out of voice, but do you have questions? Is anyone else still in here?
Teresa was hitting us with all hers. I think we got her going.
I know people watch your podcast because someone reached out to me and signed up as a client. They're like, yeah, I saw this thing like a week later, and I got a client out of it.
Hell yeah. I do get, and I think it's like a Facebook thing, and I think it's a conditioning thing, which is I get more and more podcast listeners and less live viewers, just because the live viewers who always used to catch it live know they can just catch the podcast later. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm going to bed, or I got this going on, or I got my once a year date night with the wife.
Yeah.
Do that.
Right.
And I do. One of the funny things I'll get, because I have just a loud, obnoxious voice, is from multiple people I have heard the feedback from their spouse, like, are you listening to that one bookkeeper pressure washing guy again? Like the podcast will come on and it's just me being loud and stupid, and they're like, is that guy again? So I'm well known by spouses as the loud dude that talks about weird nerdy stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Teresa said she's back. I'll have to rewatch the resurrection of the LSA.
Yeah, we did a thing just for you, Teresa.
It's in there. But no, man, Jason, I appreciate you coming back on and dishing it out. I'm sure there'll be future comments to this, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of engagement on the podcast. What's the best way for somebody to find you if they're like, this guy knows his shit? I got to check him out and nerd out with him on my Googles.
Facebook.com/Jason.guy.96.
Booyah. It's on the screen. It's on the screen right there.
Facebook.com. Let me drop a link in the chat.
96. Jai will put it, producer man Jai will put it in the show notes and all the descriptions and all the other cool stuff that people do that know social media things. Unlike
you have a media guy that like dissects this and makes it live.
Oh yeah, dude. Jai's the man. So Jai will go through, he'll carve out our bookkeeping bites. I don't know what we call them. Maybe they're not, maybe they're nuggets now. We changed the name since Bookkeeping Beer and BS. But he'll carve out like the cool segments of here's like a minute or two of something that like you're gonna want to see. He'll make some YouTube shorts on it. He will. There's some other shit that he does.
How does that do for you?
He does some Instagram stuff, some TikTok stuff, and then Service Monster can use that content as well and post it. So Jai will grab Service Monster specific stuff too, which we did a lot on this episode. It's super cool. So then we'll be able to give them some content that they can use in their stuff.
Right. Okay. I might need to talk to you one day about like how to run a podcast. I do a live.
Don't talk to me. You got to talk to Jai because I don't know. I just show up and just start yapping.
Okay.
And then Jai's job is to make me look cooler than I am.
Okay. Will you introduce me?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You can't use him because then he might not have enough time for my stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the only deal.
Is he an employee or a?
No,
sub?
He's actually he's a contractor for me. And I think he had a different full-time job. Now he works full-time. I think he's actually works full-time for a competitor of yours. I think he works full-time for Click Call Sell, Michael Greger's company.
Okay, they probably won't want him.
Yeah, he might not. Now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, that might be a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
But he works directly for me as a contractor for this stuff.
Right.
He's just the right.
Probably can't.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll. Yeah, but I don't know. You can probably pick his brain on just stuff that he does and how he does it. Because I honestly if there's something I don't know, I'm like, hey Jai, how this thing? Here's the thing that somebody sent me or that I saw. what do we do? How do we do this? Is this important in what we do? So he's really the man. He's the one that figures it out. I just get on here and drink beer and talk to people.
Yeah. Introduce me if you're able.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, like, he'll just introduce himself because he watches every episode because he carves them up. So he'll just be like, hey, what's up?
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
he's got the link.
I was gonna say, he's like, I send the link out to everybody and he's on it. So he knows who I'm talking to and what we're doing. One of the things that we got to do, and he and I have talked about it before, is like, we got to send you the episodes so then you can share it.
Please, yes.
You know, like, absolutely. Why not share it to your audience? So we got to do a better job of that. But yeah, man.
Yeah. So one trick that I learned from a business coach that I have, I'm not utilizing the info I'm learning very well, but not only can you say, hey, come join me tonight at 9, but then like in 3 days, you can be like, hey, did anyone miss our podcast on advanced LSA ads tactics? Drop it again. In 6 months, hey, did anyone need how to resurrect the LSA ads campaign? And then boom, just drop a link. And like literally, if I had 6 months of great content, I could just sort of rotate what I'm dropping.
Just drop it. Keith Kalfas does a really good job of that. And he texts me like every time. I forget what software he uses, but he has a software that like puts him live on a bunch of different platforms, even when it's not live anymore. It'll allow him to be live in multiple places. And so he'll send me a message of like some stuff we did together. And he's like, right now we're live on 8 places and we're doing this one. And I'm like, that's cool. If somebody reaches out to me like, hey, I saw you on this, I'll pretend like I was live with you on that thing. But that's pretty cool. He does a really good job of doing all of his social media stuff. I suck at it. And I'm a closet. No, I'm not a closet because I talk about this openly. I dislike social media. Like, I am not a fan. I don't think it's a good thing for the world. It's a very double-edged sword. And it's like the one area where I embrace my hypocrisy. Like, I hate hypocrisy and it drives me nuts. And I can't stand when people say one thing and do another thing. And yet here I am saying I'm on social media right now.
Yeah.
And I just dislike it. I did do an episode on it because I had to reckon with my own hypocrisy. Like I literally did a full episode on, actually, I think it was 2 episodes on first I did the dislikes, which is a long ass list. But then I did the likes because there are things that I do enjoy about social media and that I think it has value. I don't know how you police it or get out the bullshit. And I don't know if there's a way to, or if you even should, because then it's like, who's going to do it? The government? I don't trust them anyway. So what's the point? But it is quite the conundrum of like being out here doing this thing. I love it. If we didn't have it, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Well, that'd be dumb. So I'm glad we have it because I get to sit here and talk to you.
Me too. It's a necessary platform for us, right? Like, I do scroll through it, but I recognize like the negative it has in my life, like dopamine hits cause you to lose motivation, So I have less motivation for work. However, more people know about me. So it is like catch-22.
Is it weird?
But yeah, it's my best platform. I had a course I used to sell called Rank and Rent for Babies in 2019. And it was, all about getting GMB listings, ranking them, running low cost ads. This was before LSA ads was out there. And I sold maybe 100 licenses of this course. And it was all through social media posting. I was like quite the influencer.
Hell yeah.
5 years ago. I've lost some of that now, but
it's hard to stay active in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just hard.
We're so busy right now that I don't have as much time to like promote the business. I'm like working the business.
Yeah. Doing the business thing.
Yeah. But yeah, social media, you got to have it in our line of work.
You gotta, which sucks. But again, it's like, you got to embrace it. I like Teresa hit it on that, like slightly addicted, but mostly at night.
That's exactly how I would say it.
Here's my biggest conundrum with it is I'll be like, Oh, I'm trying to track this person down. Do I have their cell phone number? No. I'll hit them up on Facebook Messenger. Open Facebook Messenger. Here's 3 people that sent me reels. Okay, I got to see the reel that Connor sent me. Like, I don't really have time for it, but I know that if Connor sent me a reel, it's probably pretty funny, and he'll know if I saw it. And I want him to know that I look at the stuff that he sends because he's a buddy of mine. I want to know that I care about what he thinks is funny. So I'm gonna watch it, and then like 3 reels later, and I'm scrolling through comments. I'm like, shit. Who was I supposed to? What was I doing here? Like, there's a reason I opened Facebook in the first place, but it's like 2 to 3 things later when I go, oh damn it, this isn't why I'm here. Like, I didn't jump on Messenger to get into reels and watch a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's usually 2 to 3 reels in where I'm like, what are you doing, Plata? Get your ass back to whoever you were supposed to be reaching out to. And I'd say like 1 out of 10 times, I'm like, I don't remember why I was here. I don't remember who I was looking for. Like, later on, I do, hopefully.
Yeah. Are you on TikTok?
Home service happy hours on TikTok. I don't know the login. Jai has sent me the login. I don't think I've ever like logged in. Maybe I did once.
Yeah. It's even more addictive than Facebook is. It's all videos. Some of them are lives, and I think their algorithm is even better.
They get you quick.
Such a time waste. Yeah, it's not just for millennials or whoever's even
You're
younger.
Suggesting I should continue to not go there very often.
Won't do it. Yep. Don't do it.
Teresa said, Dan, go watch the videos of me and my kid about cleaning for a reason. I bet Teresa's got some content out there. It's just such a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I'm gonna do about it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go on a crusade of trying to end social media. It's just part of the world I live in, and I'm not passionate enough about it to get rid of it. And I'm not passionate enough about it to even find other means to do this.
To buy Twitter and fix social media. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy it and shut it down. It's gonna be the best investment ever.
Yeah.
Teresa said TikTok so addictive. My company has one. Got 2 clients off of them.
Oh, sweet. I need a guy like you have, Dan. I got to talk to that guy and just see what's up.
Jai Guy is the man. Jai Guy, when you watch this, hit up Jason or tell me to make an intro. I can make an intro, but you guys are you already have each other's contact in a funny way.
Right. Yeah.
But no, Jason, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Dan.
I appreciate you suggesting we should do another one.
I think I kind of covered it, although I totally could do one just on SEO now. Like, we haven't
really done SEO yet.
I think we've
only done Google stuff.
We did pay-per-click. We just did LSA, and now we could do Google Maps SEO. I would just need to prep for it or look up some old notes of when I trained somebody. But yeah, I could do that. I mean, honestly, if my voice wasn't gone, I could start talking about SEO for an hour right now. So I can always talk SEO, but I'd want some kind of structure,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get another one on the books. Maybe in a month or 2, we'll do round 3.
Sure.
Keep them coming. But
yeah,
man, I appreciate you coming on, hanging out. I know it's getting late for you. I got to pee. I'm 2.5 beers in, and they're the tall ones. They're catching up to me a little faster.
Pee in you. Thanks for having me, Teresa, Johnny. Thanks for watching.
Hell yeah. Home service homies, business nerds, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. We'll catch you next week. Peace.